actually had a band come up on my Lyme work that everybody kept ignoring. So I pushed and pushed and pushed, and that's what you need to do. You need to be your own advocate. So I ended up having that done in the doctor's office in Scottsdale, and again, she's a Lyme doctor. And I ended up going very quickly on a PICC line. So the PICC line was put into my arm right about here. Actually, the scar's right here. And the PICC line went straight up my venous, I forgot the name of the vein or the artery it goes up. It goes right up into your heart. So I had the PICC line put in. The procedure went very smoothly, real easy, no pain, no nothing like that. I was awake for it. They just do a numbing here and they put it right up into your heart. It's kind of interesting. So I had the PICC line put in, and then my doctor put me on 400 milligrams of doxycycline. I had that 4 times a week, and I would sit at home with an IV pole. I had nursing care. I actually went through treatment for a whole week in the Lyme Center in their transfusion or their infusion room. And then I was able to get home health care, which was covered by my insurance. And usually the Lyme literate doctors are not covered by insurance, so be aware of that. But if you do have insurance and you end up being CDC positive, that's why it's very important to get that testing, because then your insurance will pay for it if you are CDC positive. So once I was that, I got the home health care and it was taken care of. And I did that for about 2.5 months at home, 4 hours on an IV. I called George every day. And it went really well. I actually felt like I've never felt before. I felt so clear in my head. Like everything was, you know, everything was so clear, and I felt really good. I had energy, and everything went really, really well. So I ended up having the PICC line taken out, and ever since I've been doing at home, basically natural treatment for Lyme. You're never gonna completely kill every single bacteria, but you can treat at home, and you can try to do, you know, all natural type treatments. So I do stevia extract right now, and I'm up to like 3 drops. And actually, by Dr. Horowitz says that the stevia extract can actually be a lot stronger than medical antibiotics. And I stay pretty firm to that. I went up to 5 drops of stevia extract, and I was ended up having like herxes and seizure type activity in my legs. So it works very, very well. So I do that. I also do some CBD oils. That helps a lot too. So I do a lot of like home type stuff right now. And during this whole process, I ended up having, after this kind of process, I ended up having some crazy tremors that my hand would like literally go like this really, really fast. And my left arm stopped swinging when I walked. So this I started noticing. I got really nervous about it. I literally, when I was like this, I thought I was gonna start having some type of body seizure, and it got me really scared. So I took a video of my hand doing that, which is really important. If you guys ever have symptoms of anything, take a video of it, because then you can always bring it to the doctor and they can actually see an episode happening. So I took that to a doctor. I went to a neurologist in Arizona, in Phoenix. And he was one I saw in the past that thought I might have MS also. So I went to go see him again, because he listened really well, and he was a really good doctor. So I went back to him and I showed him the video, and he did some neurological testing on me. And he looked at me and said, you know, I really, without any, you know, any other tests right now, and from what I'm witnessing and seeing right now, is that I believe you have Parkinson's disease. And again, I was only like 38 years old. I'm gonna be, well, no, actually 37, I believe, because it's already been over 2 years. I was diagnosed in April of 2015. So that's what he said. And I just, you know, I said, are you, you know, how sure are you? And he said, I'm pretty sure, you know, but I would like to have you had a DAT scan done. So I had to research that. So I left that day, and I kind of took all the information home with me. And I did some research on a DAT scan, but I also wanted to have a second opinion, because I was really nervous about having a DAT scan. They do radiation. They inject radiation into you so you glow your dopamine chemical in your brain. So I was a little hesitant about doing that. So I wanted to have a second opinion, and I wanted to find an MDS, a movement disorder specialist, that specializes in Parkinson's, instead of just specifically a neurologist that can be very broad range. So I found a doctor down in Phoenix. Dr. L. If anyone wants to maybe message me, I could give you the doctor's name. I don't always like to put out information on the internet about the different doctors and stuff. So I found him, and he's actually at the Muhammad Ali Center in Phoenix. So I found this, you know, he looked good to me, you know. I didn't know who the guy was. So I called and made an appointment with him. I had my primary, which I went to see too, and I showed him the video, and he wasn't sure, and he thought it was way out of his league. So with my tremors, so he definitely wanted me to see him. So he referred me, and I got in. So I got an appointment with this guy in Phoenix. Still didn't know who it was. Careful, please. So I ended up researching him, and he ended up being the director of the center in Phoenix at the Muhammad Ali Center. And so I was like, okay, well, this is the guy to see. You know, he's the director of it. I think he knows what he's doing from the 70s. So he really knows his Parkinson's. So I ended up going down there, and I made an appointment, showed him the video, went through everything with him. He did all the tests on me, and he said, well, you know what? He's like, because you're so young, I want to make sure, I want to rule out other things. I want to do a Wilson's test on you, which is just a 24-hour urine test, and it tells you if you have too much copper in your system. So that we started off with, and he drew a lot of blood. So we did the Wilson's test, and he did a lot of blood work, and everything came out fine. Everything was just hunky-dory, but Wilson's disease can actually look a lot like Parkinson's, and that's why they always like to test that. So some of you may have been tested for Wilson's, and it's because you can end up with a lot of symptoms of Parkinson's if you have Wilson's disease. So we ended up, the next step was everything was great. So the next step was that he wanted to do a DAT scan. And so I really did not want to do this. Like, I literally started crying. Like, you know, the radiation thing, and nowadays everyone's getting cancer, and it's just scary, you know. So I had to really think it over. And finally I said, okay, let's just do it. Let's do it. If this is going to help and this is going to get some more information for me, then we got to do this. So it actually wasn't too bad at all. I went to my appointment, and they give you a like an iodine drink to protect your thyroid, and you sit there, drink that, and then they end up, you wait like an hour or so. Then you go in, you get your radiation injection, which is kind of, it's weird because, you know, they have to protect the needle so that it doesn't be exposed to the outside, and yet this is going in your blood. And so, but that's the only time I was ever going to have it, and I said, that's it, just one time, that's it. So they injected this in me, and I was on my way. You go away for literally like 3 hours, and you come back. So you literally can leave for 3 hours, and you got to wait for this to kind of kick in and work in your system. I came back. I went in the machine, which is so simple. If you ever had an MRI, I know it can be very claustrophobic for some. I actually get very comfortable in them, which is kind of weird. But the DAT scans are they just go over your head, kind of like a CAT scan. So your whole body's exposed, and it just kind of circulates very slowly around your head. It took a half an hour. It was very, very simple, and I came out, the radio, you know, what they're called, I forgot, I'm sorry. The radiologist or whoever they were, or the people, that assistants or techs that were doing the DAT scan were really wonderful. It was a guy and a girl, and they were so sweet. And she looks at me, she goes, would you like the CD? And I said, oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to have that, you know, because I kind of researched what the DAT scan would be, positive or negative, what it would look like. And I said, do you think I'll be able to tell? And she goes, I can't tell you what I see, but I know as soon as you look at it, you'll know. So that was kind of, I felt, you know, from her that I think something, you know, looked different on it. So I did. I took it home, and I put it in my computer, and there it was. It was popped up on the screen, and there's my brain, and there was 3 prominent pictures right in the dead center of it where it was the strongest. And you can see where the, it's called the substantial nigra, I don't know the exact name, sorry, but it, you know, it glows up because of the radiation. And one side was fully large, and then the other side was like a circle up on this side, and it was very short. So you could see the difference in the two, and I kind of knew right there. And the next day, 7 o'clock the next morning, which I never have gotten calls before because everything came out negative, I had a call from the Muhammad Ali Center, and I got pretty nervous because I mean, I already expected it, but I wasn't 100% sure. My battery's dying. So I got a call at 7 o'clock that morning, and one of the doctors there said, Valerie, your DAT scan was consistent with Parkinson's disease. So then she told me, exercise is really good. Young people that are diagnosed, it can, kind of progress slower than older people. And that, yeah, it was positive. So we went through that process.